we can still think those thoughts we thought before we thought better of them. I think that was a riddle.
Are you Dr. Seuss?
I think that was a riddle. I think that was a riddle. That was, you know what it is? Noah's Twitter has been hacked by the Riddler from Batman. That's what it is.
Yes.
And he's trying to tell us
that sounds so much
that
better
Batman
than
is
just
real.
Trying to be intelligent. Yes.
He's trying to tell us Batman's real. Hi guys, welcome back to Liz Not Lizzie podcast. I am excited and also very nervous of this podcast. This is our second round because the first time was glitchy, and I'll probably upload the episode on my Patreon once it's set up because I think there's still a lot of funny content, but I still look forward to this re-recording with my first guest episode of my best friend Hope. But before we get to that, I first want to give a dragon shout out to my dragon comment of the last episode, and that is this person. Woot woot woot. Thank you so much for your comment, and if you would like a shout out in our next my next episode, oh my gosh, if you would like a shout out in the next episode, then just leave a comment down below. Nothing inappropriate, but something worthy of a dragon comment, and you might be honored in my next episode. Also, do not forget to subscribe and tap the bell down below from personalized to all, I believe, because that will notify you of all videos I make, not just ones that you might like. Okay, I'm done blabbing about my channel. So, my guest episode is my best friend Hope. Super excited, even though we've technically already done this. But
fine, we got the nerves out.
That's true, but also not true. I think I have extra nerves now because so many things could probably go wrong again. And if they do at this point, screw it. I don't care. I'm tired.
Upload it anyway.
So, should I repeat how we became friends? Do you want to tell the story this time?
Oh, okay.
You tell the story this time. I told it last time. You do it.
Okay. So a couple years back, we were at the same church, and come October, some people do this thing called trunk or treat, where instead of trick or treating, you do it in the parking lot of a church, and you open up your trunks and you decorate them, and kids can go around and get candy. So it was our first trunk or treat, and it was superhero themed. And I did a Captain America car because I love me some Captain America.
Yep.
And Liz did a Wonder Woman car. And by the end of the night, she came up to me and she was just like, "Hey, I think you're cool. You want to be friends?" And the rest is history.
Mind you,
that's my version.
Mind you, I am an introvert and Hope is an extrovert. So
yes.
For an introvert to go up to someone and be like, "Hey, let's be friends," that's like, I don't do that often to people. I've only done it a few times, either in person or online. And besides a few, mostly guys, I have not regretted it. So, yeah.
Right there.
So there's that.
Yeah.
So Hope and I talked about various things. We talked about Marvel, we talked about Billie Eilish, we talked about hipsters, which was really funny because we got to act out some stuff. So once my Patreon is set up, you guys can watch it. Unfortunately, I sound glitchy because I was on the wrong frequency, but I think it's still pretty funny if you can ignore the glitchiness. Now, I don't want to repeat everything we did from last time because I feel like that's unfair to Hope and also my own sanity. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is a few things that we did and a few things we didn't. So one of the things that I would like to talk about again a little bit is how Marvel has like affected our generation, and how basically it's like Star Wars but for our generation of Infinity War, and how you feel it's affected our generation, and whether it's peaked with Endgame. Thoughts?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what I talked about last time.
I know.
It's a clean slate. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that, like Star Wars, this was like our generation Star Wars, but
Right.
bigger and better.
Right.
I think Marvel has definitely, they've shown that sci-fi superhero, like kind of really extraordinary movies
Right.
can be well acted, they can be well shot, they can be honestly like genuinely good movies and still be like superheroes and fantastical and fun.
Right.
And I love that about it, because quite frankly, if you rewatch Star Wars, the acting is pretty bad, CGI is bad. There's a lot of things that you would look at today and be like, that was an interesting choice there, Lucas.
Right.
But we have so many things, like especially like Doctor Strange. When I went to see that in theaters, like watching all of the CGI and the things that they did in post effect, I was like, it was amazing. It looked so good. So I think movie wise, they've really upped the game of that kind of genre of movie and made it look way better and made it an actually interesting story. And I also think it's such a staple of our generation, and it's still a staple. Like, kids who are 5, 6, they're still watching them. Like, I know my friends are still watching them, and we're still following them and love them. So it's kind of spanning the generations, and also especially the older generations that grew up with it grew up reading the comics. Right. And I mean, I read the comics too, but like they grew up reading the comics, and they're like, we actually have these good movies now. So
right.
It's super awesome. And I think it opens the door to more like smaller comics and graphic novels that haven't been turned into movies yet that could be turned into movies. So I think that's really cool. And did it peak at Endgame? It's a really controversial topic, but
it is.
I'm kind of on the side of I think it did. I think at this point they need to stop, because they're going to start sacrificing the story for money.
Right.
And the fans are not going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Marvel, like I said before, I think it affected how storytelling works, and that stories can be told well of superheroes. And I think, not all of their stories are perfect, obviously, but then some of them are really great. And I think that depending on, actually, no, it's not even depending on. We know that going forward, because Marvel is owned by Disney, that they're going to focus on how much they can milk it. And like I said last time, just like with Star Wars, how it kind of just crashed and burned, I'm sad and afraid that that's what's going to happen with Marvel. And that's unfortunate, because it started out well and it changed how we saw superheroes. It created a successful, I'll say, it's not like it hasn't been done before, but it created a successful cinematic universe that people have been trying to replicate since. And I think after Endgame, they didn't necessarily have a plan. Like, the plan was Endgame, and then after that, it's like a whole new slate. But with the whole new slate is that you don't have as much time as they did when they were planning Iron Man all the way to Endgame as they have now, because it's going and going and going. It's kind of like when you're working on a book, you can spend as much time as you want because you're not known yet. But once you're known, you kind of have to like stay relevant, and that can force you to kind of cost, being genuine. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
In a way, I'm almost hoping that, because there was a lot of backlash from Star Wars fans after they just didn't like what they were doing with the new movies, and even the prequels, quite frankly,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping that they might see that and realize, like, hey, we can't sacrifice
Yeah.
the story just to keep pumping out movies and getting money because our fan base
Right.
is going to be angry.
Yes.
But I'm also like, you are a corporation at this point. You're
Right.
not storytellers. You're not artists. You're just
Yeah.
a corporation
Yeah.
trying to make money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the Hunger Games, I have
Right.
no problem with the fact that, like, they turned them into movies, but they kept the integrity of the story, and they did
Right.
it so well.
Right.
And, like, but now, again, if they had kept it with that, and Susan
Mhm.
Collins had gone and written a new storyline,
Mhm.
and it been just as successful because people knew her, and they were like, okay, that's going to be great, but it kept the integrity of the story,
Right.
and not, what is it, Snake and whatever the new one is, because everybody
Songbirds
wants
and
more Hunger
Snakes
Games.
or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a good balance between art and corporation, like art and business, I mean.
Mhm.
So any art you create, if you want to make money, it becomes a business. That's just the hard truth. However, how far do you go with your business for the sake of your art, or your business or your art for the sake of the business, vice versa, whatever? Because there's some people who are just like, I just care about my art and I don't care about the business. And it's like, well, you're going to be homeless. You're going to be an actual starving artist, you know?
Exactly. Like, as an artist myself, of course, I know that there needs to be a balance of business with art and art with business, because
Right.
if you want to do what you love, you have to make money from it, but how
Right.
do you not sacrifice your art to make money?
Yes.
And it is a really hard balance, but especially when you have that much success. Again, I'm going to use the Hunger Games. When you
Right.
have that much success from those 3 books,
Right.
that's great. You already have a fan base that
Mhm.
loves your stories, that
Right.
are going to be loyal to you and want to read. Like, I would want to read a new series from Susan Collins. I don't really want to read Songbird and Snake, because I'm like, you just made that because everybody loved the Hunger Games so much.
Right. Yeah. So,
Hollywood, take note.
right. So I think that's the last thing I want to talk about that we already talked about in the other episode. Again,
Okay.
we talked about various things. We did this thing of theater versus writer, because Hope is a theater actress and she's going to Broadway someday, and I want a ticket. And I'm an aspiring author, obviously. So we compared Disney movies from a theater standpoint and from a writing standpoint. And one of my favorite parts was near the end, where we acted out what it, like the stereotypical hipster, geek, and nerd, and what is the difference. That was a lot of fun. So I promise I'll upload it, even though it's glitchy, on my Patreon for you guys to see. And I have other
Subscribe
content.
to her Patreon, y'all.
Once it's up, but I promise
Support
I'll
her, 'cause
give
she's
I'll
amazing.
give an update. I paid her to say that. No, I'm kidding. So
I'm getting no money from this people, trust me.
So the new thing I want to talk about that we didn't talk about, that I look forward to kind of talking about, is Dear Evan Hansen. I have not seen it, but I want both of us to go see it. I have listened to all of the music repetitively, almost daily, thanks to you, by the way. Because Hope introduced it to me like a year ago or something, and I've been listening to it ever since. And can I just say that the music's amazing, the message is amazing. I would love to see it on stage, because I would imagine the acting is amazing. I would love for the show to be still having, I think he's still on there sometimes. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Ben Platt. Okay. He plays Evan. So the version I listen to on Spotify has Ben playing Evan, and his acting in the song Words Fail has me like, oh my God. I get teary.
Every time I'm just tears just streaming down my face. I tried singing it for a miscast cabaret, and I was like, I can't do this because I'm not physically able to sing it without crying. And I don't know how he does, because like if you watch any bootleg of him, he's just like snot dripping out of his face, and he's just like singing this ballad. I'm like, how are you this amazing?
And
Oh,
I think
crazy.
I definitely think Broadway has changed a lot. Personally,
Yeah.
I am still not on board with Hamilton. I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned, and I think that music and Broadway should not mix with rap. I just feels weird. And it's not to say I don't like rap music. I'm just saying rap music and Broadway is where I'm like, that's where I kind of put a line in the sand over here. But like, I don't know. I
and
might
it's funny
change.
because I thought the same thing.
Right.
I thought the same thing before I listened to it, but
Yeah.
it's so theatrical, and there's so little that is straight rap that it honestly doesn't. It still feels so Broadway to me. Do you have
Right.
Disney Plus?
I don't, but I wish I did.
Okay, because they have the staged version that they recorded that's coming out on Disney Plus
I saw
July 3rd, and I am
I saw a promo for it. Yeah, I mean, I might change, but for now, I feel like Hamilton's kind of just at the bottom of the list. Evan Hansen's at the top, Wicked's at the top, The Lion King's at the top, Les Mis is at the top, but like Hamilton is like, it's at the bottom. But anyway, going back to Evan Hansen, I love just everything about it, to be honest with you. The one song, Requiem, is very powerful because it talks about the sister of the kid who committed suicide, how she actually isn't really grieving her brother because he was a jerk. And I think that's very powerful because some people feel like you need to grieve someone because they were close to you or related to you. But if you didn't have good terms with them, then you don't grieve, or you grieve a lot different than everybody else, which I think is powerful. I think also just, the story is about mental health and wanting to belong and, basically our relationships with people, which, by the way, Evan's friends suck. I just need to put that out there.
Yeah, they do.
They suck. And when they're that one song near the end where Good For You, and the friends are like, you just used us and yada yada, and I'm like, well, you guys weren't exactly like, because I read the Wikipedia synopsis, so I know some of the details the music doesn't cover, and I was like, well, you guys weren't exactly good friends either. Like, you kind of mistreated and like didn't support him or like want to really talk to him or like give him space to express himself. So you guys are also like jerk faces too. So like,
it's hard. I think I do. I love Evan Hansen because I think the music is great. Personally, for me, because of how I was trained for singing and the type of shows that I do, it's not a show I would ever be cast in because it's very pop, and I don't do pop super well. But I think the music
it's not Les Mis.
It's not Les Mis. It's not my style, but that's okay. I can appreciate it for what it is. I think the lyrics and the messages in the music are really beautiful. The story itself is great. I have a little bit of a hard time towards the end just because there is no retribution for Evan because he lied to like everybody in the town. And I'm not saying like his friends shouldn't have treated him that way, but also it doesn't, after he lied and he kind of cheated people for, recognition and things like that. Right. I'm sorry, to everybody who doesn't know this show, go Wikipedia it, pause this episode, go Wikipedia it, and then come back, because you're going to be like, what's happening?
I always forget to explain plots of things. Even in anime, I'll just be like, Attack on Titans is amazing, and it's like, well, what's it about? That's not important, it's amazing.
It's not important. Just trust me, it's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
Anyway, and towards the end, when everything kind of happens, it's just like, there is no discussion of, well, what you did was wrong, and how do you rebuild from that? Because I think that's an important part of the story, is him telling people that he was wrong, him revealing his secrets and uncovering the things that he did, but then it kind of just ending and being like, well, I'm happy now. Like,
right.
I wanted to see more of the consequences of it and how that affected his relationships. And I wanted it to be like, hey, we understand that you did this, but I want to get to know the real you and like still have a good ending. But it just it just kind of stops there, and you're like, well, it's fine now. And you're like, but you cheated people out of a lot, and you lied to people.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, it's a good cause, so like retribution needs to happen, but it was a good cause. Where's the balance? And it's like, it's not black and white, and I wanted to see them deal with it, and they just don't, and it just kind of like leaves you at the end like,
yeah.
So that's my like one grievance with the show, but it's an amazing show other than that.
Yeah, I think a lot of just even movies or TV shows kind of do that, where they're just like, and it's resolved. And it's like, well, that's not realistic because that would take time.
That's not how life works.
You're like, wait a second.
And exactly, like I wish in more things that are, in more books and TV shows and movies, that we would see the consequences of a character's bad actions, but also the healing and the regaining of relationships that come from those actions, and just like the process of time. Not everything you did was horrible, but I'm going to forgive you because that's what I'm supposed to do as the good character. Like that's not realistic, even though I'm like, I would consider myself a pretty forgiving person. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I try to see everybody and I eventually forgive them for everything. But sometimes in that moment, you don't want to forgive somebody for something, and you need a couple days or a couple weeks or even months to process, and then to come back to them and 4 years, and to regain that relationship and rebuild it. It doesn't just, oh, you told us the truth. Okay, well, show's over now.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I agree. Excuse me. Even the best of things are not perfect, including dear Evan Hansen. And that's that. Speaking of things that are definitely not perfect, let's talk about Twilight.
Yes, I've been waiting for this.
It never gets old. It's funny because I'm the type of person who continues to look for Twilight rants, to be honest with you, because it just seriously shaped my our generation, I'll say. It was funny because I was watching Dylan Is in Trouble, who is awesome, and he was reviewing some weird version of Twilight with angels and vampires, or angels and demons, or angels and werewolves, or
I saw that one.
And he was like, are you happy, Stephanie Myers? Are you happy at what you've done? You have destroyed a generation thinking that abusive relationships are okay. And I was like, basically.
Yes.
And it's funny because I texted you after you sent me this funny video about Twilight. And I was like, I now realize that Jacob gets off the hook for a lot of things that he should not get off the hook for.
Oh.
And he actually
kind of so off the hook.
Right. And I'm like, wait a second. He sounds like a modern day rapist. Like, he's like, Bella's like, I don't love you. And he's like, I don't believe that. And he's like, you can learn to love someone. And I was like, well, that's what a rapist would say.
What?
Okay, I don't mean to make people uncomfortable, but I'm sorry. I stand up for sexual assault of any kind. So I was like, no. And it didn't help that I had read this webcomic recently, Lore Olympus, that dealt with sexual assault. And the guy who assaulted the main character, I won't say who it is, just in case people want to read it. He was like, if you didn't enjoy it the first time, we just need practice. And I was like, what? Okay, I'm good. And so it's like, Jacob.
That's how that works.
Right. So Jacob sounded similar, where he's just like, you just gotta learn to love people. You say you don't love me, but I don't believe you. And it's like, if you ever, let me just say this to my listeners and viewers, male or female, doesn't matter. Anybody could be assaulted. If someone talks to you like that, run.
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 Run far away, children.
Run far away, because they do not respect boundaries. They are very arrogant, and you don't want to be stuck in a room alone with them. So, it took that video to make me realize, wow, he does sound like a modern day rapist. That's creepy. Not saying, Edward's much better, because he's not. But anyway,
neither of them are. That whole thing is messed up.
I know. And Bella doesn't get off the hook one bit. Because
no. Y'all, just all of it. Just all of it.
Nobody gets off the hook in this love triangle, okay? Everybody gets the electric chair. Everybody's in trouble. No, so I wanted to talk about Twilight, and basically, because I had not watched the movies until recently. I watched it at your house, and that was fun, ripping it to shreds, because I didn't realize how bad it was, and it makes it worse because there are good parts in the movie. Like, there are some good parts, and there are some good story parts in it.
Genuinely. Yeah, so pretty much what ended up happening was, when I was like 9 or 10 when like the movies were coming out, and my mom actually watched them, because she just like, it was like that time in like when I was growing up, like being a teenager, I was like 10 or 11, I want to say. And I had some older girlfriends who had watched it, and they were like, oh my gosh, Twilight. And my mom was just kind of like, what is all of this about? So she chose to watch them, and I didn't watch them until I was older. And she would kind of just like tell me about it and be like, that's kind of interesting. That's also really dumb. And then so when I was like 16, I finally watched them for myself, and I died laughing because they were so bad. And I'm like, I was hanging out with Liz, and I went, Liz, we have to watch this together because I want to rip these to shreds. I kid you not, it was like a straight 8 hours of us laughing our butts off because it was so bad and so funny, and we were just riffing off each other, ripping it to shreds. It was like the best day of my life.
I had hope on the floor. I'm not a comedian, but if I don't like something,
she had me on the floor.
I can make you go on the floor and laugh, okay? So, but anyway, it was so bad. Most of the time my mouth was just dropped in disbelief, because I'm just like, you're telling me that people actually enjoyed this without cracking up laughing. Like, you're telling me people took this actually seriously. Like, oh my God. Yikes.
I don't know how. I really don't know how anybody can watch that and be like, oh, that's love, or this is serious. I'm just like, you've got to be kidding. It's the funniest thing ever.
And like, what was I going to say? There are a few storylines like that vampires are living, hiding, and they like lure people in, what was it, Italy? No, not Italy.
Yeah, it was Italy.
Oh, it was Italy? Okay.
The thing is, with the story that makes me so PO'd is that there are subplots with like secondary and thirdary, that's not even a word, characters that are so much better than the main story that you're like, why are we not talking about Casper?
Right.
Why are we not talking about Rosaline? Like, they're actually genuinely interesting. And we're just like, no, we're just gonna push past that.
Literally, they literally did that in the movie, though. Literally, they're passing the door that humans go into to get eaten by vampires, and Bella and Edward just kind of pass it, and Bella's like, what's that? And Edward's just like, don't worry about it. I'm like, bro, that was literally Stephanie Myers is Edward, and the audience is Bella, and we're like, oh, what's that? And she's like, don't worry about it. It's not important.
No, just keep walking. Right. And I'm like, but that looks interesting. This doesn't. That looks interesting. Why?
I mean, I always would find it very interesting what it's like growing up in a world where there's secretly vampires, werewolves, all that stuff. Sounds great, but most of the time they're too focused on the romance and not the actual world or the creatures.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you could have just made them human.
Why?
Like, right? You know?
Is that, like, are we not going to talk about, like, the one time you see the vampires, like, using their powers is to play baseball.
Right.
Baseball. And I'm like, you guys aren't going to, like, help fight crime or something? No, we're going to go play baseball. Like, what the freak, man?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it made me so pissed.
I was just like, that's weird. And I have this nitpicky thing that still drives me crazy, but that scene where Edward and Bella and Jacob are all stuck in the tent together, and Bella is cold because she's a toothpick. No, I'm kidding. I'm a toothpick. Anyway.
No, because yeah.
And Jacob can't warm her up because he's cold or whatever, which I don't know then how they have sex, like Dylan said, because no offense, but if you know biology, you know what I'm saying. So, but anyway, Jacob stays as human because werewolves are warm to warm Bella, and I'm like, you idiot, you're a werewolf. And I have cats, okay? And this is gonna sound creepy, but it's not supposed to. If they lay on my lap or whatever, I feel warm. And I know that's gonna come off creepy. I don't care. The point is that animals have fur and that makes them warm. That's how they survive in cold weather, whatever. My cats make me feel warm. It's great. So your werewolf who transforms into more like a dog, but we won't get into that. And you have fur. Why would you not transform into an actual werewolf?
You're a giant wolf.
Right.
I'm like, this is like, I wanted it to be like the scene. Seriously, I wanted it to be like the scene from what is it? The 5th Star Wars. I forget the name of it, but where he like slices the tauntaun open and sticks him in the guts to keep him warm. I'm like, can we do that with Jacob right now? Because I really want him dead.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that was just a big fat yikes. So, yeah, I was just like...
And I'm like, you just want another excuse for him to be shirtless. Put your clothes back on.
Calling all the cougar moms.
I'm like, okay, like, even in, like, the Avengers, they address Hulk's stretchy pants so that it's not weird when he hulks up and then shrinks back down and is pantsless. Like, he has stretchy pants that he wears under his pants. So with Jacob, it's just like, we're going to make him shirtless for no reason, and then he's going to have pants because we don't want to be demonetized. Like,
and the weirdest part is when they transform into werewolves, their pants actually do rip. If you look closely, they do rip, and then somehow he has pants again, which I'm just like, okay.
You don't have a shirt.
Right.
Because Hollywood.
Right. So I just can't. But yeah, the thing that's kind of is really disappointing is just like, and I kind of said this when I was also talking about Stranger Things, some of the characters I didn't like with in my old podcast 3 Vibes, is that like you know, I like to relate to a high schooler, and as a high schooler when I was still in public school before I switched to homeschooling, I kind of just wanted to blend in, which I'm kind of disappointed in myself as a bohemian spirit because now I'm just like, I don't want to fit in. But back then I wanted to just fit in and people not see me or hear me or anything like that. And like the second Bella finds out Edward's a vampire, she's like, I will just give up my high school life and my friends and everything for a vampire and this world that's just so fascinating. And it's like, that's not normal. Even if you found the vampire world fascinating, you'd be like, look, this is cool, but I kind of just want my regular life still. You know what I'm saying? And that makes conflict. That makes conflict. There's no internal conflict within Bella.
Yes. No, it's just like she sees him and she's just like, I wasn't made for this world. I knew I was supposed to be a vampire. Like, what?
Yeah.
And even especially like there's the balcony scene. I want to say it's in the second movie with Rosalind. I think it's Rosalind. Oh, it's been a while since I watched these movies. But she's just like, don't do it. I regret every day that I have to be a vampire. She's like, well, I'm different. And I'm like, you are as plain as white bread. What do you mean you're different? Like, no, you're not. You just, oh, it's infuriating.
It's like she said, screw you, Rosalind. Screw what you went through. I know better. As a high school teenage girl,
Right?
I know
and I'm like,
better.
how old is Rosalind? She's like 120.
Right.
And you're 17 and you think, I know what I want to do in my life. I'm like, have you ever met a 17-year-old? They don't even know what they want to do in college. Like,
Yeah.
most of them go in undeclared or switch their major the first year. You don't know what you want to do with your life, so
Yeah.
can it?
It's true. It's true. And like, another thing that drives me crazy about Twilight is like the vampires.
Here's our list,
I know.
everyone. Here's just a list of everything we hate from all of the movies, and we're not even talking about the books because they're 10 times worse.
I haven't even read the books. I've just watched the movies.
Because I've just avoided anything else with Twilight.
The one thing that also drives me crazy about Jacob is that like he
Everything.
in the Breaking Dawn Part 1, he's like, you're gonna kill her by her having a vampire child or having sex or whatever. I don't know. And I'm like, but like, wouldn't, and Teen Wolf covers this, which I'll probably cover in another episode, that Teen Wolf is the best teen show I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, it's the only one, especially with Riverdale out nowadays, it's the only one. But anyway, in Teen Wolf, they cover how, like, if a guy or a girl gets excited, they can transform into a werewolf. So they kind of have to keep their heart rate down, which is kind of hard when you're making out with someone or you're having sex with someone, whatever. So, first of all, Jacob, who's to say that you wouldn't shapeshift into a werewolf having sex with Bella and hurt her? Also, if she was pregnant with a werewolf, how do we know that thing wouldn't turn into a wolf inside her stomach and just rip her intestines out? Like, just shred them with its teeth and claws. Like,
she needs to move back to the desert. That's all she needs. She just needs to move back to the desert. Like, that's just. But then she'll find like a snake man or something and want to be with him. Like, I don't know. There's no escaping it. Just.
Right. Right. So I'm just like, who? You know, how does that, how do you know? How do you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How do you know? Okay. So, the last thing I wanted to do, I hope they're still here. I was going to do it by myself, but I was like, no, it's more fun if I do it with someone. So what I wanted to do is read some of Noah Centineo's tweets, because apparently he tweets some weird stuff. Like, just like, are you okay? You know? So I'm on Twitter right now. So as I'm procrastinating, now, have you seen any movies with Noah Centineo in it?
Not at all.
For
your audience, not at all for me. Tell him who he is. I don't know who he is. I know the name. I just
Okay, so he is famous for movies like To All the Boys I Loved Before, Sierra Burgess is a Loser.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Exactly.
That guy.
Be like,
okay, that's all I need to know. I already don't like him.
Right. So,
that's a lie. I don't know him, people. I will never judge somebody unless I know them.
I didn't even have to go far before I found a stupid tweet. Lord have mercy.
Oh dear.
So I've been watching videos on YouTube of people that have been reading his tweets, and I'm just like, what the freak? And I know I'm late to the party, but guess what? Who cares? As long as someone's ranting about something, I know all of y'all are going to be watching. Look, I'm looking at the camera right now. I know all of you are going to watch it anyway, so don't come at me. Anyway, don't come at me. Anyway, so, yeah, he was like the flavor of the hour, kind of still is, in like YA romance stories.
I know.
Bad ones, like Sierra Burgess is a Loser. 2 decent ones, To All the Boys I Loved Before. Now, I don't know what his personality is like in real life. I'm not here to say that, to hate the guy. I'm not saying any of that. Don't go attack him or anything like that. However, we're going to have some fun and make fun of some of his tweets. So let me go down a bit because he retweets a bunch of stuff. Oh my God. I swear I've come across like the holy grail.
I don't know if I'm prepared.
Okay,
oh gosh.
So here's the first one.
I'm prepared for this, you guys.
Here's the first one.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna screenshot these and everything. That's too much editing work, and I'm lazy. Anyway, so here's the first one. Hamburgers are not made from ham. All right. While you process that one, I'll look for another one. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, here's the thing though. I have thought that before, but it didn't warrant a tweet. Like,
what the freak, bro? Okay, this one pisses me off because it's one of my favorite quotes from J.R.R. Tolkien. He says, "Not all who are lost wander."
no, it's not.
The quote is, "Not all who wander are lost." Son of, you're gonna start making me curse. I try not to curse on my channel, but like,
buddy, if you're gonna quote an intelligent writer,
that's right.
You want to sound intelligent?
Yeah.
You're not, because if you misquote it, you sound dumb.
Exactly. So that's just a big fat yikes. Okay, here's another one. No matter what I do during the day, at morning and night, I feel the same. This is comedy gold right here.
I should hope so. Unless you've been body swapping all day, you should.
Actually, I would say the opposite. I would say it's a little weird if you don't go through some emotional mood swings, not mood swings, but just like you feel different emotions throughout the day. Like you wake up and you might be tired or annoyed, and then in the afternoon you're happy because you're with friends, and then when you go to bed you're sleepy and calm. You know what I'm saying?
But the way he wrote that, it's just like you need a little more explanation for that, buddy. Cause
right.
These are hysterical. I'm on the edge of my seat. Please read another.
Oh my God, I gotta find him because he retweets so much stuff, dude. Come on.
Oh, he's one of those people.
Oh Lord. Some of these are political though, and I don't want to get political.
I got rid of Twitter. I had it for a little bit, and then I was just so done. I was like I can't with everything. It's so vague. Like it's bad enough on Facebook. I don't need Twitter.
Right.
The only reason I have Facebook is because of my relatives, and I'm like, I don't even want Facebook. I have such a love-hate relationship with social media, guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, I think I found a few in a row. So let's do the first one. We can still think those thoughts we thought before we thought better of them. I think that was a riddle.
Are you Dr. Seuss?
I think that was a riddle. You know what it is? Noah's Twitter has been hacked by the Riddler from Batman. That's what it is.
Yes.
And he's trying to tell us
that sounds so much
that
better
Batman
than
is
just
real.
Trying to be intelligent. Yes.
He's trying to tell us Batman's real.
Conspiracy theory confirmed. Conspiracy theory confirmed.
He's trying to tell us Batman's real. All right. Suffering. Ready? Suffering is our greatest attribute.
It's not an attribute.
Can I just say that that's going to tell kids that if you're suffering, you're doing the Lord's work.
Guys, look up the dictionary definition of attribute. That is not what that means. You need to go back to high school and talk to your English teacher because they did you wrong.
That just tells kids that if you suffer, it's because you're a good person. And it's first of all, I mean, we all suffer in life, but like, that's not something to be like, right on,
Don't
you
be
know?
proud. Like I'm proud that I'm suffering. Like the thing is, like you're gonna everybody's gonna suffer at some point in their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of,
Yeah.
and it's gonna make you stronger. It's gonna make you grow.
That's
but
right.
It's not like I am suffering. I am at my highest peak of humanhood. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You should have said like compassion is the greatest attribute, or courage is the greatest attribute, or kindness, or intelligence, or something. But suffering?
So many great attributes. Suffering is not an attribute.
I don't mean to get philosophical, but like,
let's get philosophical because it's better than his crap.
Oh my God, he did it again. Jesus, take the wheel. Hopelessness is positive because it helps you recognize the gravity of your situation. Anger is positive because it helps you recognize the gravity of your situation. Sadness is positive because it helps you recognize the gravity of your situation. Confusion is positive because, and I guess it's, he expects you to, you know, take it on because it helps you recognize the gravity of your situation. As one who has a mental illness, although I'm not trying to throw that around, but as one who has a mental illness, both anxiety and depression, especially when I feel depressed, which I talk about in my last episode, being depressed does not help me understand the gravity of my situation because I'm just depressed. I don't really care about the gravity of my situation. I don't care how it's affecting me, to be honest with you. Mental illness can become like an addiction where you actually, you get used to feeling bad so much that you're afraid to feel good, which nobody talks about. So no.
Can somebody take Twitter away from him because I think he's using him with his therapist.
So yeah, that's just a big fat yikes. A big fat yikes.
That no.
Right. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm trying to find ones where it's like trying not to, you know, have curse words or anything like that.
And I mean, in all seriousness, while Liz is trying to find this, like,
I'm sorry, go ahead, you can talk.
There are things that we go through in life, and it's nothing to, there are things that we go through in life, there's nothing to be ashamed of, you know, and like, when you get to the other side, a lot of times you're like, yes, that grew me as a person, I am happy that, like, you know, a lot of times, not all the time, but sometimes you come out the other side, and you're like, you realize that it helped you become a better person.
Right.
But that's, his wording and the way he's saying that is not coming across that way.
It's called precision of language, which I am a big advocate for. Just because you say something doesn't mean it's going to be received. You have to say it a certain way, and you have to phrase it a certain way. Otherwise, it may not be received. Now, if you say it the right way, and all of that, and the person still is offended, then that's their problem. But you need to check yourself and have self-accountability that you said it the best way you could so that they can understand you.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. So,
drop the mic.
Okay, so...
I want to see the one that you were laughing at.
Yeah.
While I was trying to be
you ready?
Helpful to the audience.
No, very helpful. Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that quiet. I'm trying to scroll through them fast. Okay.
No, just...
Feel...
Oh, I'm ready. Am I ready? Am I prepared for this one? Oh, okay. All right. I'm holding on to something.
I'm trying to breathe. I forgot how to breathe. My lungs are like, what is oxygen? Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, feeling like someone tied me to an anchor and pushed me into a lake today. So you're damn right I put sugar and cream in my coffee today. What does one have to do with the other? What does one have to do with the other?
Are you treating yourself because you feel like crap? Is that what
I don't know.
That needs some Area 51 explanation. I don't know. Like that needs some
That should just be plastered everywhere as like poetry. Just put it in some
No,
poetry
it really
books.
shouldn't. It really, or it should be. It should be in that hipster coffee bar we were talking about in the last episode that nobody heard.
Right. Yeah, about how just like the hipsters go to a coffee shop behind a coffee shop in a dumpster somewhere because it's so exclusive. Yeah.
And the crack in the wall, you know.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just
That's
like
covered in cats.
I don't know. And like some of these are funny because they're just so like pretentious. This one says jaw so tired. Okay. Okay.
Are you trying to like be like my? Is he commenting on his chiseled jawline and trying to sound humble?
I think he's doing what some celebrities do, where like Charlie Puth he'll just tweet like, "I love you," and get like thousands upon thousands of retweets. He hasn't said anything really besides "I love you," and even then, who are you talking to? I don't know.
I like my explanation better because people who do that just annoy me.
Okay, this one.
Oh, God.
This one definitely sounds like he's high. This dude across from me at the airport just opened a bag of lifesavers, and I feel like a hunter-gatherer who just smelled his favorite megafauna. I don't even know how to pronounce it, and I'm not even going to try. Again, I don't understand why. Oh my God. This one says, you got a semi-automatic mouth loaded with blanks.
Wow.
I'm sorry. There's a person, her name's Birdie, that I listen to her music. Feels like there's a hair on my face. And she has this song, Words as a Weapon. And I think that's what you're trying to get to, but she says it better. So maybe you should just, not say anything at all.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's move on before I say things.
Right. He says, I'm not codependent. What?
No, I was just saying, y'all, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. There's a reason for that old adage. Maybe that should be plastered all over Twitter because some people need to not say things.
Right. So he's like, I'm not codependent. You're codependent. And it's like, all right, I'm going to slap him.
What?
So excuse me, sir. Don't tell me what I am.
No.
Don't tell me what I am. You don't know what I am. How about you're codependent? Because you're on Twitter posting this garbage. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Newsflash, if you're the one who has to say that, you're feeling guilty for being codependent. The more you know. This is ridiculous. This is really somebody needs to take Twitter away. Y'all, can we petition to get rid of Twitter because everybody just like give Twitter a break. Like nobody can use it for a month. Like nobody. Because there are certain people who just need to never be on Twitter ever. Please.
Right.
Other than comedians. Comedians are like the only people who are allowed to use Twitter because they're genuinely funny.
Right.
Everybody else needs to go home.
It's funny because I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to share it. What the heck? It's YouTube. Quality content. Nobody send this to Noah Centineo. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Send it to him. I don't care. He can't find me. It's fine. Anyway, I had a dream recently where Noah was acting like a straight up a-hole. And like, he was basically like, he was trying to assault me. And like, I wasn't having it. And I was pissed. I woke up pissed off at Noah, and I haven't even met the man. So that's a big fat yikes.
Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my dreams are wild. My dreams are wild. It goes from anything to like I'm a spy with Mission Impossible to I'm fighting aliens to I'm being assaulted by Noah Centineo. It's great.
Wow.
It's
The
great.
last dream I remember was I had a unicorn at my birthday party when I was 6. Y'all, that's what I dream about.
Mine are very wild. That's all I'm gonna say.
You
And I don't
you have like cinematic dreams that are cool.
I do, actually. I kind of do have cinematic
Mine are
dreams.
not.
Yeah.
Mine are just weird.
Mine always
like,
there's always a plot. There's always a plot. Even if the plot is that my house is being attacked by giants that can look in my window and I need to hide away from a window so they can't see I'm in the house and then reach in and kill me.
Okay, that's cool.
It's a little Attack on Titans, but yeah, I've had dreams like that. My dreams are very vivid and it's concerning sometimes.
The coolest dream that I've ever had was after I watched way too much Walking Dead and I was like fighting zombies.
Yes.
But like that's like the coolest dream I've ever had. The rest of them are like me being like, hey, you know the part. You have to be on stage in 5 minutes because we don't have any understudies. And I'm like, what's happening? Why?
Right. It's basically
theater person's nightmare, okay? If you want to know what a theater person's nightmare is, it's that or going on stage with no costume on. That's also great dream.
Honestly, this dude is just literally speaking nonsense. He says, it is a blessing and a curse to look behind the curtain. Is this Wizard of Oz? Are we looking behind the curtain to see that Oz is a hypocrite? Is that what we're talking about here? Because that's the only curtain that's coming to my head besides Broadway. So, what curtain is a curse and a blessing?
The shower curtain. The shower curtain that you check before you go to pee to make sure Freddy Krueger isn't in your shower.
I love that. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, that is funny. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh my god. Okay, so he uses those like star things and he's like photoshops self into significant others' memories. Wow. So poetic. Like,
wow, you're lonely.
I'm actually trying to be nice, but thank you for doing what I apparently am not doing at the moment, so that's fun.
The level of snark that I have when it comes to those kind of tweets is oh no, what is that? That was the Liz face. What was that? Please, you have to share now.
God, I want to like wash my hand touching my own phone. It says,
oh gosh.
I don't know a lot, but what I do know is my baby sends me better music than your baby. Yeah.
Wow, you taught your 2-year-old how to use a phone? That's amazing.
To be honest, that's what I thought. I immediately thought of a child. I didn't think of like a baby, like a girlfriend. So that's where my priorities are. Put your tongue back in your mouth, sir. I don't want to see that. Okay.
We're gonna go with no.
Right. So it's like, them. What happened to you? Me. Jazz.
Did you say jazz?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. You're not cool if you like jazz, Noah. You're not.
Well, Noah's a hipster.
Noah's
a hipster.
No.
And so he listens to stuff that's not even heard of.
No, you know what he is? He watched the Bee movie. That's what he did. Like jazz?
Oh my god.
Not hipster.
Oh my god.
If jazz changed your personality, you needed to get a stronger personality.
He looks psychotic though in these older ones of videos of him with his beard and like everything. Like he just looks so psychotic.
Caveman.
Like, I mean, I think part of it is like he's probably not wearing any makeup and there's no effects, whatever. But like, yeah.
I feel so bad for like ragging on this guy because I don't know him and he's probably a lovely person, but just reading his Twitter is like, no.
Like, I'll say this. Neither Hope or I look as this glamorous in real life. Okay? Although, to be honest with you, I think we kind of do, though. The only difference is our
Yeah.
our skin doesn't look as, I don't know, glowing because we're not wearing freaking foundation. My lips are more
You
pale,
look so great.
and like my eyebrows are thinner, but like we basically do look the same. We just look
Yeah.
a little different. But he looks not drastically,
Ooh.
but a bit where I'm just like, sir, did you come back from alcohol recovery? Because you don't look okay.
Ooh.
You
Yikes.
don't look okay. Yeah, it's a big fat yikes.
Ooh.
I might have to share it with you later.
Well.
We'll see. I might not though, because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So,
and just a side note, like while Liz is searching,
Yeah.
like there's nothing wrong with girls wearing makeup, and for all of you who are like, you look so different when you have makeup on, I'm like, well, some girls do, and it's called art, and I've done that where I like make myself look completely different. That's really cool. But like on a daily, we try not to look that different, and I like wearing.
I think, yeah, there's nothing wrong with girls wearing makeup, not wearing makeup, whatever. To be honest, I only really wear makeup lately when I record, because I want to look, I don't know, presentable, whatever. And you might say, well,
I want to look
you don't
alive.
have to, right?
Y'all, I'm wearing so much bronzer right now so that I didn't look like the sheep behind me. I'm a very, very pale individual. And if I don't, like, y'all, you want to see my stage makeup? It looks fine in the container, but it would look so orange on me until I did my whole face, because I get so washed out by stage lights. Like, that's seriously the reason why girls wear so much makeup when they're like doing photo shoots and stuff. It's just what happened. My studio lights are up, and I'm like, wow, I look pale still. So, if you don't believe me, check out my Instagram.
It's true. So he said, there's one where he's like, we don't love the way we want to be loved. And that one's not too bad. But I think there's a quote that's better than that, and that's from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which he says that we accept the love we think we deserve. I'm sorry, but that's a better line. It's a better line. It's a better line.
Because I'm like, to me, like, no, we usually love how we want to be loved. We just don't get it back all the time from the people that we want to be loved from.
Yeah. We're getting
like,
all philosophy. We're getting philosophy here, thanks to Noah.
I'm just saying, because like you love how you want to be loved by others, but they don't always reciprocate it. It's not, you don't love, like you might not love how somebody else wants to be loved because we have different love languages, but you usually, if you love somebody a certain amount, you love them that certain amount, and then you want it to be reciprocated. It just doesn't always, it's not always reciprocated.
That's right. Yeah. All right. I'll do like one or two more. So one
Truth
is
bombs.
the difference between a rain cloud and a raining cloud.
One has the potential to be a rain cloud? What?
I know. We're both like, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Stick to acting. Don't do weather. To whatever it's called. What's the word? I can't even remember.
Yeah, bro, just focus on your acting. To be honest, there's still room for you to improve as an actor.
There's a lot of room for improvement in your acting.
Right, and I'm not saying that as a diss. I'm really not. I think any actor who's young, there's always room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement.
Unless you're like Saoirse Ronan or Timothy Chalamet or Tom Holland. No. Yeah, Tom Holland.
Yes.
I thought Hiddleston. I was like, wait, is that his last name? I was mixing it up with Hiddleston. I was like, wait a second. Okay. Yeah, so unless you're like Tom Holland or any of those young folks, for the most part, your acting needs to continue to improve. So like,
yes. I'm coming from somebody, hi, I am an actor. 2 years ago, I was not as good as I am today, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect or I don't have any room. I always have places to improve. Any young actor always has room for improvement. We're just saying stick to acting, Noah, and not meteorology. There, I remembered the word.
Oh my gosh.
I had a smart moment, y'all. It seemed to be less and less as I've been out of school for far too long.
Oh my god, no. No. Okay.
Oh
So
no, what happened?
he's like, when she sends you a live photo and you get a glimpse into her essence. Are you glitching again? Or are
I
you
don't
just
even.
speechless?
No, I'm literally speechless. I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Uh, you don't know a person if you are just seeing pictures of them. You need to spend time with them to know their essence. Which just sounds weird.
You said essence.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. This is the problem I have with online dating. Anyway.
For real though. And then he posted one where he was like, I was avoiding her gaze as she wouldn't think I thought I could fall in love with her. Oh my god, I'm gonna jump out a window. I swear. I'm gonna jump out a window. I'm gonna jump out a window. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna jump out a window.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so this was a lot of fun. And I can't believe, like, I had to read his tweets for myself, you know? Because it's like, you almost don't believe it until you're like, let me just see this for myself. And then you're like, oh my god, they were not lying. Like,
oh no.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, this was just absolutely horrible. But thank you so much for redoing this episode, Hope. Like, seriously. Like, I almost wanted you to kill me because I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Come on now. Because, like, not only can I now not produce an episode like I wanted to, I have to wait until the following week. But it just messes everything up. And like,
of course.
If you don't have the energy, which I was afraid I wouldn't, but talking to you as per usual, you know, gives me that good boost of energies.
Yes.
That I need. But yeah, thank you so much for being on here.
Yes, you're so welcome. This is so fun.
Would you like to plug yourself in? Where people can follow you, because you're going places. You're going to be on Broadway, and I want a ticket.
You're going to get a front row ticket. Yeah, you are. You can follow me on Instagram at hope.trinkler.
So please definitely follow Hope, because I'll say it 1,000 times, but she is going places. Are there any last words that you would like to pardon the audience? I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to go with it.
Sure. Besides subscribe to Liz because she's amazing. Hit the bell for all, because you should, and you're going to absolutely have a blast every time you listen to her. It brightens my mood every time she posts, and I cannot wait to all of her new podcasts.
Yeah, we gotta have you on again.
I would love that.
Talk about some other stuff, but yeah, I gotta come up with some stuff, because I feel like now we've done the stuff for the first time we recorded, and now this time, so now I gotta brainstorm. I gotta really brainstorm, but I'll come up with something.
We never run out of things to talk about, though, so we will definitely find more things to rant about. Yeah,
and I feel like we still have to talk about Captain Marvel once you watch it, so that'll be fun. That'll probably be a whole episode in itself, so that'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and like Hope said, please subscribe, and until next time, bye!
Bye!